Love sitting out in my backyard sometimes, just watching the birds chirp, watching the trees sway with the wind. This tree right here is turning yellow. It's really pretty. I think nature is one of the most unappreciated things in life, honestly. It's available to everyone to the point where we just take it for granted. But anyway, today I just want to talk to you guys about the importance of mindset. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, this speech. I hear it all the time. I'm not going to change. It's not me. But all I want is a few minutes of your attention, if that's not too big to ask. A lot of people suffer from mental illnesses like depression, anxiety. I know how bad that can be. I've went through that for a long time in my life. It's bad. And people ask themselves, how do I make it stop? Why me? Why is this happening to me? And it sucks. And there's a really simple way to fix it that a lot of people are just simply too lazy to do. Some people don't know, but most people that do are just too lazy. You know, there's lots of ways you can exercise. You have to think positively. And the biggest one I know of is caring what others think. Everyone's always trying to be someone they're not, trying to please everyone else. And you're probably thinking to yourself, I'm not that person, I'm myself. The truth is, 99% of you saying that are lying to yourselves, honestly. You're not lying to us, you're lying to yourselves. Another big one is discipline. People are very, very undisciplined. Like, I wanna smoke a cigarette because it'll make me feel better, though I know it's gonna make me feel worse later. So you still allow yourself to smoke that cigarette. If you wouldn't have smoked that cigarette, you would have felt better consistently throughout the day. So you just gotta learn to discipline yourself. Self-improvement. That's something barely anybody talks about. That's something barely anybody does. You gotta constantly be seeking self-improvement. You have to constantly be trying to better yourself. You have to make yourself good character. If you're not a good person in life, I believe that's where depression comes from. Like, you're always lying to others, you're stealing, you're just doing whatever you want without thinking of others, basically. I believe that has a lot to do with where depression comes from, not so much physiological factors. Gossiping, that's another one. People like to gossip all the time, and it's just pointless. Like, you could be focusing your mind on other things, like improving yourself, getting a job, going, you could just anything productive. What's the point of it? I don't see it. Self-reflection and being true with yourself. That's something that is very, very hard. A lot of people don't want to think of themselves as a bad person, and I understand. I've been there too in my life. Everyone's been there. But you just have to. All those uncomfortable thoughts you shove to the back of your head, you're like, you just don't even want to think about yourself as a bad person, so you just don't do it. But you have to embrace those uncomfortable feelings. A quote from Joe Rogan I really live by is, the uncomfortable times, that intense amount of stress you put yourself through makes regular life more peaceful. And he is 100% right about that, let me tell you. Thinking patterns. People like to think about the negatives, like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Always thinking about the negatives. But you just have to train your mind. You have to be very mindful and train your mind to start thinking about the positives, even in negative situations. Everything happens for a reason, as long as finding the reason is what's the hard part about it. Importance of being kind. People who are angry, depressed, those two emotions go together pretty well. They're always mean to others, always putting others down because they're so down. But what people don't understand is, after you're kind to someone, like,